Underground Railroad eventually helped Liliana escape her hell, and she is now healing in our care as she prepares to take on her captors in federal court. Over the next 2 weeks, Ballard told several different versions of Liliana's story, including another version of her story in a meeting with President Trump. This ultimately resulted in Tim Ballard testifying before Congress in a Senate Judiciary Committee meeting. A few weeks later, Ballard resigned as CEO. By then, Liliana's story reached millions of Americans. There's only one problem. It simply wasn't true. And it goes on, I'm going to quote from that Vice article. Liliana wasn't found or rescued by anyone. When she was just 17, after years of rape, psychological manipulation, physical abuse, she escaped on her own. Liliana bravely escaped her traffickers on her own years ago. The little girl was 23 years old by the time Ballard claimed OUR recently rescued her and guided her through recovery. There is no record of OUR's involvement by any agency. Both federal, New York State government agencies, and non-government partnered organizations that would have helped Liliana have never had a partnership or any involvement with OUR. There is so many levels to just this part of the story, and I want to commend again American Crime Journal. I believe his name is Damian Moore, and there's another gentleman named Kenneth Lynn Packer, and his videos are a little dry, but it's because he's just filled with so much information, and he goes into these deep ties that Tim Ballard's tied directly to the LDS Church, the Mormon Church. And in March of 2019, American Crime Journal began investigating an incident involving OUR, who briefly entered the Carly Goose case, which was a girl that went missing near the Nevada-California border. When OUR learned that American Crime Journal was questioning their operations and finances, they hired a law firm, Curtin McConkie, the LDS Church legal alter ego, who shields them from claims to serve a cease and desist letter to anyone they feel like. And McConkie, they have had multiple documents released. I'm guessing hackers got them, and there's a website which I'll link to called Mormon Links, and they've released internal documents that detailing half a dozen Mormon abuse cover-ups, and one where they were reluctant to send a missionary home because he could be charged with felony sex crimes. In another, they refused to ex an elder who molested an 8-year-old. And they also include foreign abuse cover-ups because they go all over the world too. So this is very much like, we're going to be censoring the crap out of this episode, very much like the Catholic Church. There's a bunch of internal cover-up. They don't want to fess up to it. But there's so many layers to this, and on top of them taking all this money away, they're literally taking attention away from real groups that actually rescue children. Like one of them being the Child Rescue Coalition, the other one being Child Rescue Association of North America. And it's really sad that he has been just using this fake story. It's almost like stolen valor. That's what it feels like to me. Like, I'm not that I'm in the military or anything like that, but just he's taking claim to all these things and not doing anything. And it just feels very manipulative and sick.
So I have followed this organization for quite some time. I've been very fond of it. So hearing this is crazy to me, because then who runs their social media? Like, who runs these funds? They also do a thing where they invite people to come and take these classes where you can learn things. Who are these people that are running all of these things then?
So I'm gonna we'll pin them in the comments. I'll have to go back and find them. Every piece of footage where they actually show Tim Ballard and OUR going on an operation saving someone, they're tagging along. All those girls are found in Utah, which is really weird.
Right. That's where the organization is mainly at, right? Is
Yeah,
Utah?
and then so Tim Ballard, every time that he's been coming out with like co-op pieces, defending what he is, they're coming out of a company called Deseret News. Deseret News is owned by Deseret Management Company in Salt Lake City, Utah. Deseret Management Company is an asset management company and holding company for the for-profit business owned by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the LDS. Deseret Books and the Covenant Communications, Inc. are publishers of official LDS material. Both are subsidiaries of Deseret Management Company. Both companies publish a series which they call him a researcher and historian. That's who they call Tim Ballard. These series of basically biblical fiction perpetuate early American history that was an act of God and prophesied by Joseph Smith. It goes the entire thing is ran by religious fanaticals, and they're liars. They've it's probably one of the best scams in the last couple years. I mean, considering they raised 21 million in 2019.
Definitely, and I still see things about them all the time randomly on my feeds on social media. So they're still thriving and going strong, right? It's just like it boggles my mind. I've wanted to be involved. That's how realistic they make it seem. You know what I mean? I've wanted to even be involved. So it's just like, what the heck?
Until I really started digging deep into it, because it's so much to take in. When I'm saying that we're only scratching the surface, I am not joking. If we're gonna link you to American Crime Journal, which everyone should go subscribe to, he does awesome work, and then Lynn Packer's videos. They're long. You'll probably need to watch them in parts, but the I guess you would call it circumstantial evidence and the other evidence and real evidence that they've collected against them paints them as just a complete fraud. They're just the entire thing's a scam.
Dang. That's very unfortunate because, like you said, they're taking away from other groups that are serious and that are really truly helping. And having something like that go on for a money benefit is just like, it's sick.
So,
It's
and
sick.
this the other thing too is this. This doesn't make you probably didn't realize this. I had to look it up to see just to verify for myself. But back in August 27th of last year, which was in Mr. Packer's video from October, apparently Davis County, which is just north of Salt Lake City, their attorney received a complaint, a request for a criminal investigation on how OUR solicits donations. Now, Davis County Attorney Troy Rawlings has signaled a criminal investigation, and people believe it's already begun.